Hello everyone, welcome back. Today, we are taking a huge step forward in our automation journey. We aren't just building a single AI agent anymore. We are going to learn how to connect different workflows in n8n to build a fully autonomous agentic AI system. Imagine having a team of AI agents that can communicate with each other to complete a complex project from start to finish. That is exactly what we are building today. We have three specific agents: test generation agent, test execution agent, and a report generation agent. By the end of this video, you will see how these independent workflows connect to perform an assigned task, handling everything from writing test cases in Jira to executing them live in a browser and emailing you the final report. If you haven't seen the previous videos where we build the generation and execution agents, I highly recommend checking those out first. But for everyone else, let's dive in and see how we can connect these workflows together. We have three distinct workflows to work with: a test generation agent, a test execution agent, and a report generation agent. Let's look at how we can connect these different workflows together. To start, I'm creating a sample workflow. First, I'll add a chat trigger node, and then I will add an agent node. You can pick any LLM you prefer, but for this session, I am choosing Google Gemini. Now comes the interesting part. Do you see the tool node? If you call the n8n workflow tool, it allows you to connect directly with another workflow already present in your n8n account. Since we looked at those workflows earlier, let's go ahead and call the report generation agent. This node is the key to connecting any workflow in your account. However, there is one crucial requirement. If you are connecting to a workflow, like I am connecting with a report generation agent here, you must ensure that the target workflow has a specific trigger node setup, and that is when executed by another workflow. But wait, there is another way to connect workflows, and it is incredibly simple. Instead of building everything from scratch, try this. Simply select the group of nodes you want to package together, right click, and look for the option Convert Nodes to Sub-Workflow. By using this method, I was able to create the sub-workflow you see here in seconds. And I have created the report generation workflow by just separating it out in a new sub-workflow. And the best part is it automatically configures all the required fields for you. You don't have to do a single thing manually, it just works. Now that is really amazing. That's exactly how we chain different workflows together to build a comprehensive multi-agent AI system. Alright guys, now that we know how to connect different workflows in n8n, we are going to take the next big step, connecting these three specific workflows together. We have our test generation agent workflow, another one for the test execution agent, and finally the report generation agent workflow. If we connect all three of these agents, we will build a complete agentic AI system. This system will be capable of generating test cases, automating and executing those test cases, and finally generating a report and sending it over email. It's a complete end-to-end solution for test automation. It's very cool and very interesting. I'll show you exactly how I've connected these agents step by step. So let's start with the test generation agent. By the way, we have already seen this test generation agent and the test execution agent in my previous video. If you haven't seen them yet, please go and check out my previous video. But for the new viewers, I'll just brief you on these workflows. This is a workflow that gets details from the Jira platform for any story, epic, or feature. This agent then generates test cases based on the details of that particular story. It passes them and sends them for approval. Once a user approves it, it checks again. If it is approved, it goes ahead and creates the test cases in Jira, links them to the parent story, aggregates all the test case IDs, and sends them over email. Now we want to connect this with the test execution agent. We've also seen this agent in my previous video. It takes input, runs it on a browser use platform, gets the task status, and if finished, retrieves the task details for further processing. Let's see how we can connect these two agents. I have already added one of the workflows here So I'll copy paste this right here. As I'm calling this test execution agent, let me show you the test execution agent I'm talking about. This agent requires the input of the test cases. So whatever test cases we have created here, we will pass one by one to this agent. These test cases will be further processed. So let me first connect the node so it fetch the test cases ID, and we have added an edit field node that will copy the description of the test cases, which are our test steps, and pass it to this agent. And this agent will then call the test execution agent. If we talk about this test execution agent, because it is called by the test generation agent, it will have the test cases ready. It will run a task on the browser use platform, get the task status, and if it is still running, it will continue to follow this loop. Once the execution is finished, it will get the task details and other information as well. So we are getting the output, and we are also getting when it was created, when it was finished, and the steps of the test cases. And then further, it will call the report generation agent. If I show you what we are doing in the report generation agent, it's a very basic, simple agent which is triggered by another workflow. If you see the system prompt of this agent, we are generating an HTML body for a test report, which should have these parameters. Once that is ready, it will send the HTML test report over email. Great, guys. I hope this is clear till here. To test this workflow, I have created a Jira dummy project. And if you see the Jira story details, we simply verifying Amazon search functionality. And based on this acceptance criteria, our test cases will be generated. So if you see, currently there are no test cases attached to it. So if I provide the Jira story ID here and click on hit, it will first fetch the Jira story details. Based on the acceptance criteria, it will start generating the test cases. And yeah, it is generating the test cases. An email has been sent to me for the test case approval. Let's refresh the page. Here it is. Let's approve these test case generations. Review and creation. And one more thing I would like to show you. This review meeting has been already scheduled for us to do a test case review. And this is done by this node test case review. So now, once I have approved the test cases, it has already started creating test cases into Jira. Once all the test cases are created, it will link those test cases to our parent story. So test case creation is done. Now it is calling this HTTP node to link all those test cases to our Jira story. And that is also done. Starting execution, now it will call this node and pass each test case one by one to this flow. And then it will call our test execution workflow and execute each test one by one. Now let me show you the test cases that we have generated. Earlier there were no test cases here. If I refresh, you will see all test cases that we have just generated are linked here. So now let's go back. Now it is calling this sub workflow test execution. So if I go here and see the execution tab, you will see a new session is running, and once the execution is done, you will find your sub workflow execution details here. Check this out. We can actually watch the execution live on the browser use platform. Right here, you can see it happening in real time. Look, it is already searching for a laptop. It will proceed to execute all our test cases, and for each one, the execution workflow immediately triggers the report generation workflow. That workflow then compiles a specific test report and sends it over via email for every single test case. Now, let's take a look at the report generation workflow execution tab. You can see that one test case execution has already finished. So since that is complete, we must have received an email with the test report. Let's check. Yes, I have received one. Here is the report. The test case details are here. It searched for the laptop and the status is passed. The duration is 36.36 seconds, and these are the test steps, and this is the test summary. Continuous loop, and this cycle will continue until all these test cases are executed. So one by one, each test case will go through this path and it will be executed by this workflow. And this workflow will call the test generation workflow. Wait, I mean report generation. And again, the test declaration workflow will generate the test report one by one. So you see the number of executions is increasing here. So I might have received a new email for another test case. Let's refresh the inbox. And yes, as expected, I have received another one. Now you might be looking at these and wondering, wait, aren't these reports exactly the same? Honestly, I was confused for a second too. But if you observe closely, you'll spot the difference. One test case is targeting amazon.co.in, while the other is specifically for amazon.in. And execution time is also different for both test cases. All right, we did it. We have successfully connected all three workflows to build a powerful agentic AI system. It's amazing to see our agents communicate and work together to deliver complete end-to-end test automation. Execution of all the test case will take some time, so I will skip that and we'll see the final result. So finally, all our test cases have been executed successfully and we have received the test reports for each one of them. And one thing I have observed, our AI agent has generated really good test cases with all possible cases and boundary values. So if you see, it had searched for laptop Bluetooth and iPhone with some capital letters and small letters, then with an empty query, then some like 5 spaces with some special characters, or searching for 2023 to verify the numeric value search results. I mean, you can see the details and the variety of the test cases that is generated by our agent. So it's really great and amazing. All right, guys, we have successfully connected the dots to build a fully autonomous multi-agent AI system. We went from fetching a Jira story to generating comprehensive test cases, covering everything from standard inputs to tricky edge cases like special characters and empty queries, and finally executing them live on a browser and getting detailed reports delivered right to our inbox. It is really great and amazing to see how these three different agents, generation, execution, and reporting, can communicate and work together to handle the entire end-to-end process. If you found this tutorial helpful, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into N8N and AI automation. If you have any questions about the sub workflows or want to see a specific agent built next, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching, keep automating, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.